You guys are good, you said? Okay.
How you're explaining it isn't how it is.
I got to rally off some wins here and prove I'm the man of this class. It's racing a bunch of kids, and yeah, so I am the man, and I got to prove it to them.
My name is Derek Schuster, and I'm the owner and operator of the Honda Canada GDR Fox Racing team. For me, the preseason starts really early. I guess I have my own preseason before the riders' preseason starts. Theirs starts when they start their training, riding, all that type of stuff, but I have a ton of stuff to do to get them to that point. You know, it's about getting bikes built, ready for them, suspension. Justin's busy in the shop with that stuff, me ordering stuff. It's a lot of work that goes into that part just for us to even get the preseason started for them when they head down south. Getting paperwork ready to cross the border, all that stuff needs to be done so they can start their preseason. So one thing we'd like to do coming the season is have a preseason race for the guys, shake things down, get the mechanics, riders, everybody accustomed to each other again, and make sure that we iron everything out and everybody's firing on all cylinders coming in round one. The guys were coming in looking great, but it ended up being a bit of a disaster of a day for us. All three guys ended up getting injured through the day. Dylan had probably the most serious injuries that he dealt with. He ended up, he was leading a race and had a mishap, tore both his ACLs in both knees. So that is a huge blow for us. And you know, that's a massive injury to overcome. Getting them surgically repaired, you're out for months and months. So we had to make a decision there on how are we going to handle this? What are we going to do? We met with doctors right away, his therapist, trainer, everybody. It was all hands on deck. Like, what are we going to do about this situation? Can we have him ready to race with torn ACLs? Is his season over? Where are we going with this? And ultimately we decided that we got to try and make this work. We're going to go the therapy route, get through the season, and worry about it in the off season. Ryder had a tough day as well. He came into the day looking really good, but had a mishap right off the get-go on the start, comes in the first turn, tangles with another rider, hits his head pretty good. You could tell he wasn't feeling right the second he got up, and that was the end of the day for him. Basically, he suffered a minor concussion. His neck had been bugging him. He hurt his arm and shoulder a little bit, and you know, with a concussion, you don't know what the recovery time is going to look like, so he was really a question mark heading into round one as well. Tanner's day was about as rough as the other guys. He looked great coming into that weekend, and obviously he had the repaired knee from the off season and snagged it in the corner, re-injured that knee, and I'm immediately thinking, oh man, he just wrecked that knee that we just had fixed in the off season. So for him, same thing. Get to the doctor, get an MRI done, start seeing your therapist. Can you even make it to round one? He's going into a contract year, and it made things tough for him because he's worried about, you know, if he's going to be able to race this season, how the knee is going to be. But we ultimately decided we need to get this thing fixed. He's still going to have plenty of time to get ready through the end of the off season to be ready for round one. But it's always tough. Coming back from an injury is never easy. The therapy, the rehab, getting back to feeling fit again, getting comfortable on the bike, worrying about dabbing that knee the first time, all that stuff plays a factor in your mind as you're coming back.
Hey, what's up guys? I'm Ryder Mcnabb.
I'm Tanner Ward. I'm Dylan Wright. I'm 23 years old.
I'm 15.
I'm 21 years old,
And I ride for
the Honda Canada
GDR Fox Racing in the 450 class. I was lucky enough last year to get the 450 title in Canada, and I was really stoked with that. I felt like my riding was good, my speed was good, and obviously this year I have a lot of hype coming in, you know, trying to defend the championship and keep that #1 plate on my bike, but it's something that we've worked really hard on as a team and myself and my program to make sure that, again, I'm 100% ready this year, and hopefully, you know, I can bring that title home again, because I truly believe that our team and my program deserves it and everybody around there. So obviously I'll be, you know, not stoked if I don't win, because I guess that's what I get paid to do, and if I don't perform, well, that's on me.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, here we go. It is 2021, and we are back at the Triple Crown Series.
Yeah, 2021, I'm super excited. The new number 84 brings back a lot of amateur memories, and talk about amateur memories. We're here at Walton Raceway and got a lot here, so super excited to kick off the year and yeah, get this thing done. I know I definitely put my work in the off season, and yeah, I've won before. I know what I need to do, and just focus on myself and each and every weekend. And it's a long series, so you know, kind of look at the main end goal and that's about it.
Just close out our last day of preparation. We're here at the track ready for the race tomorrow. You guys have gone to bed for the night. Everybody's resting, and tomorrow morning is go time. We've won a bunch of championships in a row, and you almost go from having this goal to win to it being the expectation to win.
2021 Triple Crown Series about to go. Tanner Ward jumping around the outside. Right now, leading the way, Tanner Ward. Ryder Mcnabb, the 15-year-old Honda Canada GDR Fox getting in that. So we got 1-2 on the ride. Red Machines here.
He's out here, first time leading a national, and he did it the hard way, Goldie. A lot of guys get a whole shot and do it. He's out here leading the way. He came from about 7th or 8th.
Mcnabb has won his very first moto as a professional.
Ryder Mcnabb, everybody!
This is moto number 2 of the 250 class. Tanner Ward going to grab that rotorstrimming.com whole shot. Piccolo already trying to make a move, and Sinai right there.
Coming into this first round was definitely a big question mark for me. We had a little preseason injury, obviously, with my knee leading up just a couple weeks before, so I just wanted to get points, wanted to end up on the block.
Honda Canada GDR Fox Racing, Tanner Ward grabbing the moto win. Stoked, look at that.
We got our champagne. Put your hands together. Your overall winner, Tanner Ward, everyone!
Went 4-1 for the overall. First moto didn't go too well for me. I was out front, and then just kind of tightened up, had a little bike malfunction, and then yeah, I just really put the hammer down moto 2, and when they say you're on it, you're on it. That was the best I've ever felt on a dirt bike.
I think the best way to go in round 1 is with the mindset that you're going to win, and I think it's important to set the tone for the season, and that's what the guys did right from the get-go on day 1. We took the win in both classes on day 1, and I felt like set the tone for what the rest of the season would be.
It's time to get back to the sea of red. 2 days ago, we saw the Honda Canada GDR Fox squad absolutely pull out all the brakes and win all 4 motos, bringing red plates here to round number 2 at Walton Raceway.
Yeah, I mean, 1-1 on the day is always good. Come out with the points lead, up a few points. It was a good day in the office, I guess, except for a little mistake in that second moto. I ended up going down, breaking my finger and slicing it open pretty good, but not a pussy, you know. Said just keep grinding and keep pushing, and hopefully today's gonna be a struggle, but at least there's always light at the end of the tunnel for next weekend. So get through today and just try and put in some consistent rides. It's gonna be some sprint motos, so everybody's gonna be pushing the envelope a little bit, but hopefully I just have that speed edge and just make it happen and can limp my way through the day.
Round 2 also took place at Walton. A little bit of a tougher round for us. They were short 15-minute motos, and I feel that does not play at all into our team's favor. Our guys, I don't think, fit the mold of being these sprinters that are really good in short motos. So I knew that, you know, going into it, that was going to be a little bit of a tougher day.
Hey, oh, that's Dylan Wright with the rotorstrimming.com whole shot. Wow! Dylan Wright up into that second spot, now behind Thompson, your leader. Dylan Wright to the lead, making it look easy. And here, as he said in his interviews, he's going to drop the hammer right now. He's going to see what everybody else has in store behind him. This is what you do not want to see if you're someone behind Dylan Wright. This kid is so fast and he's nasty when he gets into that lead.
Yep.
3 in a row, rotorstrimming.com whole shot winner. Dylan Wright bringing home that first 450 moto. With Dylan Wright dominated one more time. And can he be stopped? That's the question there. Yeah, Dylan Wright showing that he is the man once again, able to come back from the back and salvage force to keep him in a chance for that overall. Pettis, Thompson, Welton, Wright within about a second of each other, Kyle.
That was unbelievable.
What an absolute finish here, ladies and gentlemen.
Wow.
Three-moto format, history in the making at the Triple Crown Series.
.450 class, Dylan definitely ran into a few issues and gave up the points lead. But Tanner was still able to get the job done in the 250 class. And overall it was a decent day, but you know, giving up the points lead that he had earned himself at round one for Dylan was, you know, a little bit of a tough pill to swallow. But that being said, he did show he was the fastest guy, and you know, felt like we could move on to round three with you know, a good mindset. Round three, our hometown race.
We are bringing you round number 3 action from Gopher Dunes.
There's the points on the board there. Tanner Ward, a slim margin here, and this battle is shaping up.
That one's always a tough one for me because I'm doing more than, you know, one job at a time. And honestly, for that race, I really want to always make sure from the Gopher Dunes standpoint that the race goes really well.
So Saturday I qualified P1, then I won the first moto, actually pulled a monster hole shot, which felt awesome.
Ready to go racing here, round number 3, Triple Crown Series. Gate is down, middle of the pack. Is that Powell, Canella, Sinai? Oh, that's Halstead up the top, but that is Mcnabb and Ward going at it. Whoa.
Mcnabb.
I'd say Mcnabb got it by the hair on his chin. Ryder Mcnabb gonna grab the roadstrip.com hole shot. Piccolo Ward, Halstead right in there, Kyle. Talk about Tanner Ward, first time he's ever had that red plate, Kyle. The pressure, the bullseye, does he hear it? How does it work? So many different ways you can look at it.
I think the biggest obstacle for Tanner right now, we haven't seen him be good early on. He's good in the last moto, the first day, and as well as that 3-moto format. He needs to be good in this first moto here because there's only one chance at this overall. And right now, Mcnabb could be that winner. He's pulling away, he's looking strong, and the guys he's in competition with, they just can't keep pace.
Didn't really go to the plan. Just kind of didn't feel like myself on the Saturday, the 1-moto format for the overall. Just didn't ride very well, and in all honesty, I got smoked.
Yeah, I mean, it's kind of tough to pick out what kind of goes good and what goes wrong sometimes. I feel like every day I try and execute everything the exact same, try and do the same routine and same everything leading into the motos. Sometimes shit just doesn't go your way.
Dylan, you know, he had some good rides and he found himself on the ground again in the first turn and had to work his way through the pack. He had an amazing ride, but again, we left some points on the table that probably didn't feel too good about.
Number 16 has Pettis, much like Mcnabb, already pulling a bit of a lead here.
Whoa, Wright and Medaglios running into the rear end of each other.
I kind of tell my story while I race. I don't like losing. Honestly, I hate losing. If I get to make an aggressive pass to get an extra points in the championship or win a moto, I mean, it's something that I'm going to do, and I'm not afraid to, you know, maybe lose a friendship or something over it.
Dylan right up the inside, he's got the pass. And he makes a stop. Whoa! Welton down hard, right behind us.
Hard.
But it is what it is, and you know, we'll take it from there and move on to the next one. Yeah, it's been a tough week leading into Sandali. The guys, you know, with these injuries, there's no off week here. We're just straight back into another race. They're feeling it. They're banged up. There's 2 days of racing at Gopher Dunes. They have injuries they're dealing with. We've had a lot of other stuff we've dealt with during the week. We had a couple mechanics get in a car accident on the way here. Luckily, they're okay, but you know, it just adds to the challenge. Ryder's family had motorhome issues. They got here a day and a half late and cost them a ton of money. And the big one for us this week, we lost a close friend to the team to a workplace accident. He's been a great friend and like a big brother to me for a long time. And, you know, he's become a close friend to a lot of the other guys on the team. He's really close to a lot of our staff, the crew, the riders, and we definitely want to take some wins here and dedicate this one to him.
Coming in St. Louis, got the red plate back. I'm obviously tied with Piccolo, but no, it feels awesome. I've had it, I've lost it, and we're keeping it now. I got to, you know, I got to rally off some wins here and prove I'm the man of this class. It's racing a bunch of kids, and yeah, so I am the man. I got to prove it.
Swapping the red plates right now is a bit of a roller coaster. Like, it's on Dylan's bike, it's off his bike, it's back on his bike. Ryder's got it, Tanner's got it. It's going back to Ryder. Now Tanner's wearing it this weekend.
So far this season, the red plate's actually been under the GDR tent, and I like to keep it on my bike for sure.
I know they truly believe that they're number one and number two, and they both think that they're number one and the other guy's number two.
Ryder, Mcnabb, and bring home another win for the Honda Canada GDR Fox and a new red plate holder. Fist to the sky, Kyle.
Championship was going good. I feel like we were okay. We were like 1 point back, I think, going into Gopher. Obviously, we wanted the red plate, but those sprint motos kind of hurt me a little bit on that Sunday. I made a couple mistakes that I probably, you know, shouldn't have. But that's racing, that's why we dropped the gate. So it was going okay. Better now, I guess, after last week. We got the red plate back and leading the championship, and that's where we want to be.
So we got to Sandali and went out for 250 practice, and Ryder came into the pits and told the mechanic that his bike is unrideable. And we got that relayed to us over the radio, and didn't really set a great time or anything in practice. So we went back to the pits and spoke to him about it a little bit. And, you know, I felt like he didn't have the mindset he needed, and he was maybe complaining about things that weren't really there. Maybe it was some minor tweaks that needed to be done, but I don't think we're in a situation where the bike was unrideable. So we did those tweaks, went back out for qualifying, and it was better, but he still just wasn't himself, like what we were, you know, seeing from him in some earlier rounds.
I didn't feel super comfortable in first practice because I switched to a different bike, and that bike just wasn't handling very well. I think there was something up with the clutch, and it was just making the bike just go straight in the corners. I couldn't turn it.
Went back to the truck, spoke to him again, like, hey, the bike's looking better now. Like, you got everything you need. This is a fresh race bike you're on. This is, you know, you're looking good. And sometimes the guys just need some help getting some confidence instilled in them. And I felt like that was one of those moments where Ryder just, you know, sometimes teenagers, you know, they think everything's unraveling on them when it's really not. And, you know, he went out there and had one bad practice that wasn't as good as he wanted. He was maybe like 6th in times, and it wasn't really a big deal. And, you know, we had to talk to him about it. And then sure enough, he goes out and almost wins that first moto. you know, it came down to a couple lappers getting in the way, which I really feel ended up costing us the race. But you know what? He went out and followed that moto up with a win in the second moto. And, you know, he won the overall on the day after, you know, starting the day off where he did to winning and having that red plate. You know, it was just like 100% turn of events for him. And that's sometimes the stuff you're dealing with when you're dealing with a young teenager like that. Like there's, you know, a lot of emotion and, you know, it can be tough for them to get through a race day like that. Colton's such an unbelievable asset to the team, and he's done so much for us. He's won multiple championships with us. So as a rider, he did a ton, helping put us on the map. And now I just see it as this guy who just brings some intangibles to the team that I feel be really hard to replace if he wasn't around. And on a day like Sandali, just listening to him interact with Ryder and kind of like get his mindset right and almost like get his head out of his ass a little bit. I felt like that's, you know, Colton's telling Ryder exactly what he needs to hear in that moment.
But the 6-time Canadian champion right there, Colton Fasciotti, Honda Canada GDR Fox, changes the record books and becomes the greatest Canadian racer in the last generation, the last 20 years.
The transition from being a racer going to working for the team has definitely been a big change for me. There's nothing like winning races and you know, having the crowd cheer you on, stuff like that. But I still get my low wins here and there, you know, helping out the boys, and I really enjoy it so far. I think a lot of my mentorship comes from past experience. I've definitely been in the game for a long time, so I've been through a lot of it. Obviously some stuff that I haven't been through, but I just try to help the guys out in every way that I can, and every situation sometimes a little bit different. So now I can kind of, you know, massage it a little bit, but for the most part, you got to keep them happy, and you know, even if the bike looks perfect to you and they want to change, sometimes you just got to make that change to make them happy, and 9 times out of 10 it works.
Deschambault was a weekend to remember, but not for good reasons. It was a challenge, and I think it was a defining moment for Dylan in his season a little bit, and maybe even in his career. The day did not start out great. He set a fast time in qualifying, and the next lap was going even harder, something that Dylan and I had chatted about. The team chatted with him, just not overriding the bike in qualifying, just setting a good time and being smart. And next thing you know, he launches over a berm into a stream, and I kind of caught it out of the corner of my eye. Colton's radioing me to get to where he's at. He's pinned under the bike underwater for maybe 30 seconds, and I'm running to him. There's bikes crossing the track as I'm trying to run across the track and jump in the water, pull his bike out. He's soaked. The bike's been underwater at this point for a couple minutes, and it was a chore to get it out. It was tough. Moto 1 goes great for Dylan. He gets a lead, checks out, wins, and it's like we're back. We're heading back in the right direction here.
Dylan Wright is on a tear in the first quarter of this race here, Kyle.
Wright already making a stab for the 1. Dylan Wright making moves early, Galdi.
Hand in the air. You got to bring home another victory, and like you said, this is pretty much home turf for him. So.
Coming in Deschambault, I was super excited, and I've obviously had some great success leading into it. And then unfortunately on the Tuesday before we were practicing, I was staying with Dylan actually in his place in Quebec, and went there to practice and had a pretty big get off and damaged my ribs a little bit. So kind of put a little dampener on the rest of the week. But yeah, really tried to put that behind me and lead into the weekend. But unfortunately, the weekends didn't go to plan. I didn't capitalize on a couple rides that I should have made up some points from the weekend before, and just didn't put my best foot forward, unfortunately. And it's pretty frustrating. It's tough because it's tough seeing your teammate win and do well, and it's you don't like that, especially when you're both going for a championship and you see him winning and he's super confident, and you're just kind of in the background, kind of frustrated with yourself. Yeah, it's not fun.
Tanner Ward all over the back end of the 46 here. He's going to try to make this pass. He needs to get by, get clear vision, and just have a clear track to ride.
Look at where Mcnabb is going here.
You know what?
Oh my God, does he make that pass?
Oh.
Wow, I thought he was going to make that work.
We might see Tanner Ward leapfrog himself up into that second spot over his teammate.
Goes out for Moto 2, and back to the same problems we've been having with these highs and lows.
We can get this overall right or well. Sitting 1-2, Pettis to the outside, looking in with that third.
We lose the number 1 right now. We're trying to see if we can find him. Wow, there's a yellow flag down there.
A little bit of a altercation with Cole Thompson on the track. A little ways up the track from there, he has a massive crash, like the hardest one I've ever seen him take. He's not moving, and immediately I'm thinking, season's over, that's it, we're done. Is he knocked out? Is he okay? Like, what's wrong with him? I start getting closer, I got a little ways to go, and you see him kind of like pop up a little bit. He starts moving. The bike's still laying there. He's on his hands and knees. He stays like that for a little bit. Eventually he gets himself up, and I don't know what's going to happen. Is he going to the truck? Is he gonna keep circulating the track? And he decides that he's gonna keep going.
When I was watching when that replay happened, I seen Thompson and Wright get into it in the bottom of the corner, but when Wright got up, he launched in behind those trees and he just disappeared.
I mean, if there's one guy, that I don't like on the track, it's him. And, he got into me and I was pissed off about it. So I almost got him with like 1 lap to go. Like if I would have probably had 1 more lap, I would have been able to catch him and put him back on the ground, kind of, which was my goal.
I got a feeling Dylan can get to 10th.
Oh, I have a better feeling now.
You got better now?
I
Okay.
want to say top 5.
Top 5?
6.
Wow.
6.
When the race actually ended, we kind of had to go out the fence at the back, but he was like he was in 5th and I was in 6th, so he was kind of right in front of me there. So I kind of just pinned it up the grass and like made him come to a stop at the gate, like just hit his front wheel. Obviously not my proudest moment of the season, but emotions are high when we're racing, and I was pissed off. So I kind of, I stopped him. I let him know I was pissed. I was fucking mad.
Those two were going at it, and things were being said, emotions were running high, it escalated very quickly, and before you know it, I'm grabbing Cole's bike and yanking it and knocking it over on the ground on him as those two are, almost coming to blows with each other. And things escalated, but that's how things go in racing. I felt he had done us dirty a few times. Dylan felt that same way, and I just felt like in that position that I got to have my guy's back, and I'm always going to have his back. And maybe going forward I'll handle it in a different way, but I'll always have my rider's back.
I let him know that like the way he races fucking bullshit. I just passed you clean, straight up, and then you try and fuck with me. So I was just pissed off with it. I get feisty when I race. Like I said, I wear my emotions on my sleeve, and I fucking let him know that I ain't here to fuck around. So it was pretty intense. Derek kind of stepped in to help, I guess.
Yeah, like I was really upset. I mean, this is a guy that we've had run-ins with over and over. Date back to Colton, and I just feel like there's always something going on between him and us. And with that being said, obviously emotions are running high as soon as you get over there, and that's how things escalate really quickly. But Dylan's upset, I'm upset, you know, Cole's likely upset too over whatever has happened that he's not happy about in the past, and you know, things get sideways quickly sometimes in racing. As a result of the situation, Dylan and I ended up being put on probation the rest of the year. I'll probably reassess how I handle situations like that going forward, but I do know that no matter what, I'm always going to stick up for my guys.
You know, we had the points lead back and we were comfortable heading into Walton, and I knew that I had what it takes to seal the deal at the last one. So
going into this final round, I want to do something special for my good friend Jamie Klein that passed away a few weeks ago. And we had some special jerseys printed up so the guys could each wear a Klein jersey with his number 80 on the back for the first free practice. And we had a few of Jamie's family members attending the event, and we thought it'd be really cool to surprise them with them wearing the jerseys first thing in the morning before they went out for that first practice.
He was always super positive, and he kind of brought that good vibe to the team. So it kind of set the tone a little bit for me in the morning that, like, you know, today's going to be a good day, and I'm gonna kill it for him. So pretty cool that we can do that.
Yeah, coming into Walton, there's a lot on the go. Dylan all of a sudden has this bigger points lead. We have our chat. A lot of focus was going on the 250 stuff as well. We had one guy 3 points out of the lead, another 11. I feel the tension building up amongst those two as these final few rounds are going by.
Coming into Walton, where's your head at?
Nothing to fucking lose.
Like, 4 of us, we were all super, super close for this championship. Like, any one of us could have won it.
I wanted to remind them that it's important for the team to know that we want to win the championship no matter what.
And obviously wrapping the championship in the first moto, that was the plan that I had in mind, because then I can go kill it the second moto and not have to worry about the championship.
Walton, the final round starts with the 450s going first instead of 250s, and Dylan goes out and just absolutely crushes it. Like, he dominates and does exactly what him and I spoke about.
So the 450 moto number 1 getting ready on the gate. Best start of the year for Dylan right here, and look at this, the 16 and the 1. We know there's a little bit of drama left over from Deschambault, so we'll see what happens there.
See this line, look at right around here.
Gonna make it happen. Wow, around the outside, Dylan Wright to the lead. No, Thompson gets the drive. They're gonna cut him off. Maybe Thompson can swing around the outside of this bottom turn. We've seen it happen, like you said, in the premix pass. Dylan Wright to the lead. Honda Canada GDR Fox. Gotta give hands up to Dylan Wright, everybody. There it is, your 2021 Triple Crown Series 450 champion with the 1 moto to go.
I don't like to celebrate too much after the first one. We did a little bit, but I like to celebrate when the day's over, because we still have 1 moto to win.
Moto 1, 250, 2021 Triple Crown Series. Mcnabb not so good. Ward right in behind. So, look at that, Ward taking it out.
Oh, Ward down,
Piccolo. Ward goes down and Piccolo stays up. Canella now maybe taking the lead.
You know, I told my guys I want them to be aggressive out on the track, and they definitely were. And, you know, Tanner got a great start. He's right behind Piccolo, the guy who's got the red plate, who he's chasing. And
Unfortunately, the train left the track a little bit. First moto, put myself on the ground twice in the first lap.
you know, I can't emphasize enough how important it was to get a good start, and Ryder just did not get that start that he needed.
Mcnabb about 12th right now, so he's got some work to do. For 18, still in that 4th position. That would mean a 7-point gap for Mcnabb.
You know, that moto kind of cost him, right? Like he couldn't get up there early on, and he ended up letting the guys that he needed to beat him.
So frustrated with myself. I can't believe I did that on the first lap. It's not what someone like myself as a vet of the 250 class is supposed to do. It's frustrating. Yeah, makes me want to cry right now. I'm fucking pissed at myself.
Heading into the 2nd moto, Tanner ended up DNFing that first moto. We ended up having a bike issue later in the race after he kind of worked his way back up in there. It was a tough moto for him and a tough pill to swallow. But heading to that 2nd moto, you know what? He told me, he's like, if I can't win it, I sure hope my teammate can. And like just hearing that from him, knowing that you know, he's pulling for that other guy, and kind of makes you feel good as you're heading the line.
Wow, the one.
Who would have guessed it?
The one gets the final RotorSwimming.com hole shot of the year. Look at this. One on the day to cement his status in the history books, and he will be your 450 MX champion here in the Triple Crown Series.
I ended up pulling like a pretty big lead, but I didn't want to stop there. I wanted to stomp the moto and stomp the championship kind of in a way in that moto, and I was able to, you know, pull a nice hefty lead and win in fashion.
Unfortunately, again, not a great start for Ryder. Tanner had a decent start again and found himself on the ground early again in the race. And I think he was just pushing things a little too quickly and ended up going down. Ryder did end up working his way kind of up a little higher than the first moto. He got himself in front of Piccolo, but at that point in time, Piccolo didn't have to beat Ryder anymore, so it wasn't really, you know, that costly of a pass for Piccolo. Ryder got one spot in front of him, and they kind of just rode it out like that to the finish, and Piccolo wrapped that thing up, and Ryder missed it by a few points. Dylan's knees had been weighing on all of our minds all year long. Like, what's going to happen with him? Can he make it through the season? Is this going to be a problem for us? But he ultimately made it through, wins the championship, and then we have a new decision we have to make. Do we get these knees fixed right now? We kind of picked a deadline time that we needed to have it done by so he's ready for the next year. And we ultimately decided we're not going to bother with it. We really wanted to have him race Motocross Nations, represent Canada, and I really felt that it was important for us to do these MXGP races. With the schedule changed over there, it's an opportunity that we normally wouldn't get, and for Dylan to go over there and race himself, represent the team and all that stuff, I felt was super important, and we decided to roll the dice on it and go for it. So we've been trying to work on a contract extension with Tanner throughout the season. Ultimately, we couldn't make it happen. I was facing a few cutbacks and things like that that we had to work through, and there's some certain things with COVID that have made things a little bit uneasy within the industry, and we just decided that for Tanner to have the best opportunity going forward racing, it would probably be better at another team, and for the other two guys on our team to go back to two riders and make sure that everybody's getting the support that they deserve and need to go win championships. So we really, we had to make a tough decision and decide that we were going to part ways. We ended on great terms. Tanner is not only a rider for me, but he's become a great friend of mine. And you know, it's unfortunate, but it is part of the business. And there is a business aspect to it for him as a rider and for me as a team owner. And unfortunately, that's the way it goes sometimes. That leaves us with a two-rider team. We have one guy in the 250 class, one guy in the 450 class. I do think that this adds some pressure to Ryder. He's now the lone wolf in that class for us. You know, he's probably going to feel a little bit extra pressure, but that being said, I think that in making that decision with Tanner, I kind of knew that Ryder's ready for that extra pressure and he's ready to really challenge for this championship. And it's our goal to win both championships in 2022.